Hello, everyone. Great. Come on in. Come on in. Hope you can hear me. I look weird with these things. Kind of look like I've got little white things growing out of my ears, but they're AirPods. AirPods. That's right. Oh, good. We got people here. All right, 8 people so far. Come on in, everyone. All right. Nice to see you. Anastasio, Tina, and Clem from Phoenix or Scottsdale, Lori, Jerry. Wow, great. Hi, everyone. All right, Roberta. Well, as people come on here, this is nice. 46. All right, this is great. Hope you can hear me. You would say if you couldn't. I can hear you. Okay, good. Thank you. Excellent. All right, everybody. Come on in. Hello. Nice to see you. Great. Hello. Hello. Wow, they're coming in quickly now. From Austin, Texas. Great. Other places. Colorado Springs. Hello. Okay, great. Pat Thompson. Welcome. Nice. Okay, I'm sorry, I gotta focus. So hi everybody. I have a guest. I think he'll just be here for the just to introduce himself, unless he'd like to say something as people are clicking on. This is nice. Yesterday, I'll tell you this a little bit. This is kind of my presentation tonight. Yesterday and the day before, I was in Panama City and Niceville to visit with several of our priests there. So last night I got to stay at St. John the Evangelist in Panama City, where we have an awesome pastor, great guy, just a great priest. I want to be like him. I'm so glad he's on our side. He's on our team. It's so awesome. But anyway, Father Kevin McQuone. I'll pause while you can put up your little hearts here. There's a delay, so if you don't see any hearts, come on in for a second here. Would you?
Hey everybody.
Look, it's Father Kevin McQuone. What can I ask you? Do you want to say anything or anything? Oh, well, so why is he here? He followed me back. I came back from Panama City and he followed me. Look at all these hearts. People like you. No, he was here for an appointment for something, and so he's staying here, so it's really nice.
Good to see everyone.
He's great. All right, is that it? Okay.
Sure.
The door's open. Just pick in either of these 2 rooms here. See you in a bit.
Okay.
All right, all right. Okay. Love that guy. He's so awesome. He's just a great priest, and he's also, not only is he pastor of St. John the Evangelist, but he's the president of our Presbyteral Council as well. So he helps to be the liaison with the priests for that council and for me, and to bring their concerns to me and our decisions as a Presbyteral Council to the presbyterate, to the priests. So just a really, really good guy. He went through so much, just like everyone else in Panama City and in the surrounding area, in Blountstown and all those other places around there 2 years ago during Hurricane Michael. And so he's just, the school is finally open now after 2 years, and he did a great job kind of bringing that parish and school back. All right, great. Well, remember last week, if you tuned in last week, I did a little fireside chat. I was downstairs on the first level, whatever, of the house. It's not a basement, it's just where you walk in. And there's a little fireplace there. So I was sitting on the floor doing the little fireside chat, if you remember. If you don't, you want to look at it, go ahead. Why is that important? Well, yesterday morning, I noticed that, let's just say that I noticed some gurgling in the shower and the toilet, and then I knew something was wrong, but I was in a hurry to start my drive to Panama City. And I went downstairs to get into the car, and there was stuff on the floor. Yeah, it wasn't so nice. So I had to mop that all up, and I found out it came from the ceiling right under my shower, through a light fixture and everything. So I don't know why, it just didn't smell good. I think it was backing up from the outside of the sewer. So anyway, mopped all that up and then left, and I called the maintenance person, and I think they fixed it. I hope they did. But the reason I mention that is because that same spot where I was sitting, looking all pleasant last week doing this fireside chat, that's where it would have come right on my head had I been sitting there. So it's a nice thought, isn't it? Anyway, so it's all clean, didn't smell here. There's a big hole in the yard, so I guess they did something and fixed it. But I'm just going to use the toilet anyway in the shower, see what happens. I mean, I could just keep mopping it every day after I shower, downstairs, so what the heck. Anyway, so, great. So today I was just thinking what to share. Here's what I'm not going to talk about, the election. Isn't that great? I'm not going to talk about that or counts or votes or recounting or anything like that. I think we all need a bit of a break. And we keep praying for God's will to be done, pray for patience and peace in our country, in our communities, and for a just and fair election and counting procedure. So, but that's it. I said I wasn't going to talk about it. That's it. Here's what I want to share with you. I want to share with you what I was doing in Panama City and Niceville today, and what I'm doing with all the priests here. And I don't want to, I'm not sharing this just so you can learn about what I did, but because I think it's relevant as well to you. And I'm going to ask you the same things that I'm asking the priests. So every year I meet with, well, every year, this is only my second year doing this, but I'm going to meet with all of the priests in active ministry. I sit down with them for about an hour, hour and a half, and we call it rounding, like a physician would round with her or his patients, rounding. So I round with all of the priests and some of my staff members as well at the pastoral center, and I ask them some very pointed questions, and we have a nice conversation. So we did it all last year. It took about 4 or 5 months to do all the priests, and then now I'm doing it over again. And here are the questions that I asked them. These are 4 this year, and I'll just ask them so that maybe you can ask yourself too. But I figure as bishop, as the spiritual father for our priests in the diocese, I owe it to them to ask them these questions and to challenge them on things like how they're doing at work, at their parish, what their prayer life is like, and things like that. So those are 2 of the questions, but here they are. So the first one I ask about their physical health. You know, how are you doing? Are you exercising? Are you eating well? Are you sleeping well? Again, I think a lot of people don't ask us priests these questions, you know, not because people don't care. They love us. You love us, and you're very attentive to us, but it's just not something that comes up like, hi, Father, how's your health? You know, maybe it does, and that's kind of good, but especially I need to ask that. And so we have a conversation about that, and that's a good thing. And then I ask them about their prayer life. How is your prayer life? Tell me, what do you like to do? What is your prayer? What does your day consist of prayer-wise? And it's really neat. It's edifying. I mean, all of us say the same thing. Maybe you say it too. If someone were to say to you, how's your prayer life? I doubt that you would say, perfect. Don't need to change a thing. Never been better. I'm great. I think almost all of us answer the same way. Well, it's okay. It's good, but it could be better. And it's neat to hear them say that as well. But it's really edifying to me to hear how all of our priests pray, of course, but they enjoy, they love it. They look forward to praying, say, in the morning, you know, in front of the Blessed Sacrament, praying the Liturgy of the Hours, or just being in the presence of the Lord, or in adoration, or spiritual reading, or doing something like that. And then, of course, homily prep is a great time to pray over the texts and the reflections, and then prepare your own thoughts and pray through that. Of course, celebrating the Eucharist and the liturgies and preaching itself is a form of prayer for us, because we're, you know, even though we're preaching and we're saying these prayers for the congregation, it's really, I think I can speak for all of us, we're really talking to ourselves as well, especially when we're preaching. So that's a form of prayer. So, but it's good. I ask you the same question, you know, about your health, and hopefully you're eating well and trying to work on that, and trying to get good sleep at night. But prayer life, how is your prayer life? How's your spiritual life? I think if all of us are honest, we can say, well, I could be doing more, not out of a sense of guilt, but because God is inviting us to spend more time with Him, especially before the tabernacle, especially just in contemplation of God's grandeur, God's presence, God's love and mercy and grace for each one of us. Okay, then there's 2 other questions, and I'm forgetting them. They're gone. Oh, wait, here it is. No, I forgot. I should have written this down. Think, Bill. Then I ask, oh, yeah, here's one. I'll think of the 4th one later, I hope. Gosh. Anyway, the 3rd question is, this sounds kind of funny to ask of priests, but you remember maybe a few weeks ago on this video, I talked about our emphasis should be on evangelization. You know, it's a kind of a quote that came right after Vatican II. Pope St. Paul VI reminded us that the church exists to evangelize. Pope Emeritus Benedict repeated that often. The church exists to evangelize, to get the word out, to preach the good news in word and in action. And so if that's our focus, it should be a focus for everyone. So I asked the priests, how are you evangelizing? Do you have an opportunity to evangelize, to bring the gospel to people? Now, again, it sounds obvious. Well, duh, they're priests. And it is true. We do that a lot in the liturgies, in our preaching, in our teaching. People come to us all the time in the parish, thanks be to God, and we minister to them there. But my question is, do you have an opportunity to reach people who would never come to our schools or our churches? Do you have an opportunity to share the gospel with people, just who maybe didn't even ask, but it's pretty apparent that they want to hear about the Lord. And so it's really neat to hear their answers to that. There are outreach programs. Some of the guys talk about what it means to wear the clerics, the blacks, when you go shopping or just out into the community, and how people engage us, and you can talk to them and pray over them and things like that. I think I told you one of our young priests has this prayer, Lord, put me in a position today where I can evangelize. And he said whenever he prays that, it almost always happens that someone's right there in front of him who needs a good word or prayer or something like that. So I ask you the same question, how are you doing at evangelizing and sharing the gospel with others? Are you able to do that? Again, I'm not talking about going to stand on a corner with the Bible. If that's what you want to do, great. But just maybe in little ways to share a good word, a sign of hope, pray with someone, pray over someone. I think it's just really, it's an important thing to remember. And I am not remembering that fourth question. Father Kevin, are you still here? Do you remember? Do you pray? How's your health? Evangelization. I'm really, this is funny. I'll think of it in a minute. Because I did 3 today, 3 yesterday. I have several priests. Maybe you could help me, everybody. What else should I ask the priest? No, we don't answer that. Good night. Good night, Bill. I'm just drawing a complete blank here. Maybe I ask them their favorite color. That's it. I don't know. Oh, Father Kevin? Do you remember the fourth question I asked?
Watching Bishop Bill.
But are you helping me? Do you remember the fourth question I asked in rounding? Evangelization.
Prayer requests?
Prayer. Your health.
What's going well? What could be better?
What could be better? What's going well? What's going well?
Who's doing excellent work?
Yeah, and that's it. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, good. I ask about, what are you proud of right now in your ministry? What's going really well? And kind of what's on your heart for the future? For your parish and your school, but also for yourself personally. What is God putting on your heart for the future? And the short term and the long term, perhaps. What would you like to do in 5-10 years or so? All things being equal. And another thing, especially this year, that's really important is tell me about your friendships. Are you friends with parishioners? Do you have family members here in the diocese, in the area that you can, hang out with? Tell me about who are your friends among the priests. I think that's really important. Who are the brothers you talk to and hang out with on a day off or something like that, and just to challenge, but also to really encourage, because like everyone else, our life can be stressful and lonely and difficult. We need friendships. We need good friendships, not just with brother priests and brother bishops, but we need friendships with families, with elderly and young people, and people who can kind of just help us to round off those sharp edges and challenge us as well. So those are the questions that I ask the priest, and I kind of ask that of you as a little examination, I guess, of your own self today. How's your prayer life? How's your physical health? Who are your friends? Do you have friends? Are you sharing, appropriately with people? And then are you able to evangelize, to share the gospel with people? Anyway, so I'm doing this with all the priests this year. It's very edifying and humbling for me to do that. And then after that, I pray over them and I bless them, and I won't see them again for another year. No, I'm kidding. Then I'll see them again at the next liturgy or the next gathering. But anyway, so that's kind of what I do. I wish I could say that this was my idea to do rounding with everyone, but it really came from my leadership team. I have a leadership team of a couple of priests, but mostly lay people around me, and we meet weekly. And they're the ones who challenged me, and they said, you need to be out there. You are here to be a father to your priests. So And frankly, this is exactly what Pope Francis said when I asked him. I asked him this question when I was there in February. I said, there's so much administrative work, Holy Father. I'm sure you're feeling it, but all of our priests are feeling that. I'm feeling that. What's your answer? And he looked at me and he said, that is a good question. And he said, you must pray. He said, you must pray, pray, pray. Ask God to guide you and to help you to be a good priest and bishop. And then he said, the next thing is, be a father to your priests. He was talking to all bishops at that time. There were 15 of us in the room. Be a father to your priests. And then he said, and then be a shepherd, a father to your people, the people in your diocese and the people in the church. But he said, and he talked for a while, he said, it starts with God. You must pray. You must build a relationship. He will help you to be a good shepherd and a good father. So these are things we're kind of working on. Thank you. Thank you for praying for our priests and for all the support you give to them and for me. Thank you for praying for me as well. It's good to be with you, especially in this difficult time. It's just lots of things that stress us out. Of course, record numbers, it seems, of people who are positive. There are 2 priests in our diocese who have the coronavirus, COVID-19, and many others, and then the whole stuff with the election and everything. But there are some constants. The one constant is God is with us, and all will be well. So may God bless you tonight and always. May God bless your families, and especially those who ask you for prayers and who have asked you to remember them in your prayers. May God lift them up. May God give them what they need, healing and strength and the assurance that he is with them, and forgiveness and love and his very real presence. May God bless you tonight and always, in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Good night. Oops. Good night. Okay, shoot, here we go. Good night.